Today's hottest music, 1017 The Beach presents the 1017 Project. Celebrating listeners having a positive impact in our community.
What's up? It's Justin from Today's Hottest Music, 1017 The Beach, here with former New York Islander forward Steve Webb. He rocked the barn for a while in Nassau County. The founder of Team Up for Community, promoting social responsibility and community give back through athletics. Steve, thanks for coming out and hanging out with us.
Hi, Justin. Thanks for reaching out to us. We're so happy to be out here.
Absolutely. So, Steve, tell me right off the bat, what is the main goal? What is Team Up for Community?
Team Up Community basically is taking athletics, the structure that's already out there, and making social impact to it. And we do it through a lot of different ways. We use a lot of digital and the social media aspect, and we have a lot of contests. We try to make it fun.
That's awesome. So, tell me how it got started.
It started on a long bike ride.
Really?
Yeah, I went from Canada to New York, and through that time, I had a lot of time to think about how do I want to make an impact. In every town I went through, I noticed there was athletic fields in it. Didn't matter if it was one stop sign or New York City. Athletics is it's woven through our society, and to tap into that to try and inspire others to do good for their communities.
That's incredible. So now what I know is every fall and every spring you guys do this, and you end up awarding different individuals or groups for things they've done for the community. Tell me a little bit about what happened this past spring.
Yeah, so this past spring we usually take about a 2-month window, and we have a video contest to try to inspire people to get out there. Yeah, there are some awards that we do, first place, second place, and third place, but it's a video challenge. So the athletes go out there, they provide a service for other people in their community, they make an impact, and they share it. And we want the ripple effect. And that's the reason why we share everything, is we want them to share it with their friends and families and everybody they know to come vote for it. But then maybe that inspires somebody else to go ahead and do somebody for something else as well. So we want to take advantage of that ripple effect. People doing great stuff and then sharing it with others. Yes, there's a reward, maybe something at the end of the line to tweak it. But again, athletics, let's use the incentive there. They're motivated. They like challenges. They like competing with one another. If we can get everybody out there on the island competing for one another, it's going to make a big difference.
So, Steve, with Team Up for Community, are you just looking at high school students, or is it all student athletes in the area?
Yeah, it's all student athletes. It's basically all athletes that are out there from 6 years old all the way up to college students. We're looking for all to participate. And the reason being is we want to start kids off at a very young age. It could be like delivering water bottles at a run, a local fundraiser, or whatever it may be. Just trying to get them involved on a regular basis. It becomes a yearly fabric of their season. When they're planning their schedules out, they do it. And the reason being is by the time they hit high school, when we're asking them to do it for credit to put on their CVs for college,
right.
They're already built in. When they show up to the event now, they're actually in it for the right reasons versus I'm in it because I get something out of it.
Right.
It's getting that idea, thinking about other people.
Right. So now it's almost like changing the mindset, is conditioning the mindset from a young age that this is part of what you do to do good for the community, to pay it forward and to do the right thing. Is it tough for you to find volunteers? Is it tough for you to get students that maybe didn't have that at a young age to do things for the community without getting credit or without doing it just for their resume?
Yeah, I think, because they're waiting. No one's introducing it to them, right? So
right.
The two issues that people have about community services, number one is they haven't been asked. We're asking every athlete on Long Island to take 1 hour a year to do something for somebody else and then put it on our website so we can track it.
Wow.
That's it. That's
Simple.
all we're asking. It's very basic. All right. And then the other issue is people do not know what to do. So when you say go do something for community service, they're like looking at you like, well, what do I do? I say, what we have? Since we track, we've tracked 30,000 athletes just last year alone.
Wow.
All right. Basically, you can go on there and you can see on our map, it's an interactive map. You can dial into your local community and see what the athletes are doing and grab some ideas. This doesn't have to be the biggest philanthropy thing in the world. It's just starting. Doing something for your neighbor, doing something, I don't care if you're shoveling driveway for your neighbor. If your kid does that, put it on our site. It's just starting the process of thinking about other people in a different way.
Teamupforcommunity.org is the website. Teamup4community.org, and you can see you can get some ideas. You can see what other people in your local area are doing for other people, and let that be like a spring pad for what you can do. Now, does it go beyond student athletes? What if once they graduate, when they come back home?
Well, they can start being impactful. They can be, volunteer coaches or whatever they're going to be, but they can also start impacting their nieces, their nephews, and get them out to participate and do other things when they're back as well. They can be now the motivators that are out there pushing the movement that way.
So this is awesome. Just kind of setting a new generation up, thinking differently and thinking outside of themselves and looking to make a positive impact on the local community. Just your neighbor, just your friend, just people right near you.
Yeah. So, if you start adding the value of what's going on in the communities and what people are doing out there, so we track it. And we track athletics. We're using athletics because that's in my wheelhouse. I'm not going to step outside of my wheelhouse. I understand that environment. I understand what exists.
Yeah.
But we definitely want to track that and see what other people are doing. We have we're almost tapping into about 35,000 athletes a year right now in Long Island that are doing community service projects. Now, we know there is a lot more athletes out there. And to get competitive, we want to teach these values. Everybody talks about, leadership, and they talk about team building for these exercises. Yeah, these are parts of things that you can get out of it long term. You know what I mean? In the athletic world, by doing things outside of maybe learning how to throw a ball or kick a soccer ball or whatever it may be, shoot a puck, I guess. But if you could teach a little bit of empathy in these kids. If we can teach the next generation to look at their peers, look at people around them in the community, say, what can I do for them? And how can I help them? And I think that's going to go a long way, and we're going to use athletics to do it.
What have you seen so far? Backtrack a little bit. How long has this been going on, Team Up for Community?
Well, we started it basically in 2011, where we kind of pivoted a little bit into this on the long bike ride, coming up with ideas about how we can make a much larger impact. Using the digital world and using social media and things like that. So it's been 2011 and it's been growing ever since.
What are some of the stories that you've heard or learned about through Team Up for Community? Some of the standout ones.
I think one of the most important things is when people share their work, when they're competing and sharing their work. I remember one time we had two schools that were competing in the challenge, and the one school went and looked at the other school, and they noticed that the school was basically raising funds for a 3-year-old girl that had been diagnosed with a severe, cancer and needed some funding for some treatments. And when they won their award, when the other school won their award, they actually took the money from what they won and they actually contributed to the other school's funds to help the family out. So when people are sharing what they're doing, a lot of great things happen and people get very unselfish.
Yeah.
They start thinking about other people. They start thinking about what they can do and if they can assist in any way.
Steve Webb, former New York Islander, now founder of Team Up for Community right here on Long Island. Steve, how do we get in touch with you or how do we get in touch with the foundation if we want to help out or want to learn more?
You can tap into, like everybody's got a website, of course. So, teamupforcommunity.org. Again, it's teamup4community.org. Tap us into, send us an email if you're interested in participating, you want to help out or in any capacity, you want to get involved, you want to help us out with our different functions that we put on, different events. Please feel free to reach out. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. We want to use a little bit of incentive and some fun contests for people to compete in.
What's coming up in the future for Team Up for Community?
We got a few things on the go. We've just signed on with all New York State schools, so we're basically going to be running a huge challenge for the whole state of New York. So from Buffalo and Albany to the Canadian border, of course, where I'm from, all the way down here to Montauk. So we're definitely going to be expanding, and we're looking to tap in definitely into the North American hockey market in this upcoming winter.
That's awesome, Steve. Thanks for coming down. Thanks for all you're doing, and I'm sure we're going to be in touch as going forward with the different things we do here on 101.7 The Beach.
All right, thanks for having me, Justin.
Teamupforcommunity.org is the website. Teamup4community.org to learn more about this great initiative.